Hi everyone, at long last after a few delays, Alpha 2 for Heavy Beat is finally here, so let's get straight into it. So first up, I've changed the overall architecture of the game. While this change might not be visible at all to you, the player, it does mean the game works a bit different behind the scenes, mostly gaining in performance and reducing the amount of human errors in the code. I'm gonna try and explain the basic gist of it so you understand why I had to rewrite most of my code base. The initial architecture lumped everything into one big Unreal module. This allowed me to access pretty much any functionality from anywhere in the code. This usually isn't a problem as long as you're careful with your code. However, in programming, you can never be too careful with how you write your code. This practice can often lead to code depending on things it shouldn't. Most of this manifested in order of execution type of issues, at least for me. Now, the functionality of the game has been split into separate modules, where each module only includes what it needs. This ensures that my code is encapsulated. For example, the Heavy Beat core module, which includes the player code, won't have access to the UI module.
Great success!
But the UI module will have access to Heavy Beat core, thus making sure there are no circular dependencies going on. A circular dependency appears when two pieces of code depend on one another to run.
Whoa, whoops, oh! I dropped my monster condom that I used for my Magnum Dong.
The new architecture also helped with the order of execution for the code. At least for low-level C++ modules, Unreal shouldn't usually be trusted with a set order of execution, but by splitting your functionality in separate modules, as well as having specific modules that ensure a proper order of execution, you can make sure that everything is ready for you to use after the game is initialized. Now enough of this technical stuff, let's dive into gameplay. The first big thing you'll notice when you start the game is that there are two game modes to choose from. Runner is the classic mode that you've seen in previous videos where you run towards the horizon to try and gather as many points before the song is over. Unfortunately, due to the previous architecture change, Runner mode fell into disrepair and is not available to test in this alpha. However, it will make a quick comeback in the Alpha 3. Tower is the new central mode available to test in this alpha. Once you choose your game mode, you're given a choice of song. You can select any that come with the game on the left side of the screen or add your own. Note that the songs you add are not saved for the next time you open the game, for now. Similarly to Runner, randomly generated platforms spawn in the world, only this time on separate levels, each level stacked on top of one another. The goal is to ascend as high as you can until the song ends. Each level contains at least a jump pad tile with an empty space in the level above so that no matter what, you always have a way to ascend. Chevron tiles give you a boost in speed, and you can also get a bit more speed by sliding with control and jumping with space. The main mechanical addition to the game is the ability to use a hook. Using left click, aim at the spheres in the environment, and provided you are within reasonable range, you're going to hook and get launched towards it. Make sure you control your movements well so that you don't smash directly into the platforms. Using the hook, you can skip a lot of the levels in order to ascend faster. Whenever you successfully use the hook, you use up one charge, and you gain a charge if you collect any of the boxes with the hook on them. Similarly, collecting multiplier boxes will increase the value of each diamond you collect by 1, and this effect stacks. So, if you have 3 multiplier collectibles active, then each diamond will count as 3. Most of this information is displayed in the top left part of the screen. The top number represents how high you've reached. The circle underneath displays the current diamond multiplier and its duration, and to the right of it you have the number of diamonds you've collected thus far. In the center of the screen, next to the crosshairs, you have the number of available hooks. Each diamond is worth 5,000 and is tallied up at the end of the game to the total score, alongside the distance you managed to ascend. One last mechanic to talk about is the death grid, a large structure at the bottom of the level that will race you to the top of the tower. It constantly moves upward at a fixed speed, as well as gains speed whenever there is a powerful or low beat in the song, making songs with heavy and multiple beats a lot harder to play on than mellower variants. Fortunately, you are given a grace period at the start of the game, of about 10 seconds, before the grid starts moving, so you have plenty of time to get a fair distance between you and the grid. Hopefully, you'll notice the handy animation on the left side of the screen showing a moving bar, a static bar, and an exclamation mark. The top static bar is you, and the moving bottom bar is the grid. The exclamation mark will warn you if the grid is dangerously close. This should be obvious, but if the grid touches you, you're dead. Visually speaking, I've tweaked the light intensity of all the different elements so that you no longer get an epileptic seizure when playing. but the most important change is the fact that I no longer change colors with the beat. Previously, some elements of the game changed colors wherever there was a beat, and this made it really hard to choose eye-pleasant colors that made the different elements of the game distinguishable between each other. Now, I have permanent colors, and the only thing I play with when the beat comes around is the intensity of that color, which turned out a bit tamer than previous versions. However, you can distinguish every element of the game and clearly see where you can stand and where you're going to fall, which is pretty cool if you ask me. And that's about it. Quite a lot of new content for the game, and definitely one of the reasons why it took so long to get Alpha 2 out through the door. I'm definitely looking forward to your feedback, so if you're looking to give it a try, then head over to itch.io and download it for free. I'm also happy to say that most of the mechanics you see in this mode will also make it to the runner mode, that will come with Alpha 3. While I'm not making any promises, Alpha 3 should be available a lot quicker than Alpha 2, since most of the design for this mode has already been nailed down. Thank you for watching, I'll see you next time.